Hello students, welcome to science class. Now I am going to start new chapter number 5, separation of substances, part 1. In this lesson we are going to learn about different methods of separation and why we need to separate substances and how we separate substances, everything. So let's begin part 1. So there are many instances when we notice a substance being separated from a mixture of material. It means if we have mixtures of some materials and we need to separate it. So in our everyday lives we come across many instances of separation of substances. Yes, look closely to the picture. In picture only you can see that one lady is separating something from floor. Now one girl also separates some fruits like banana and apple. One more girl is there in picture. She is also that separating water from water filter and all. So it is just basic separating method and we use this all things only. See that separating tea leaves with a strainer. When we prepare tea, what we do? Generally we mix milk, water, sugar, tea leaves, everything, and after boiling we strain tea leaves from a prepared tea. Why? Because tea leaves are unwanted things only, impurities only, and generally we throw it away. So we need to separate it before drinking. This way it means the tea leaves also are separated from the liquid with a strainer while preparing tea. And when we eat poha, in that also many components are there: groundnut, chilies, onion, potato and everything. So what we do generally, if we do not want the chili, what we do that we remove it by our hand. So various type of separation we do. Now see, butter is taken out by churning milk or curd. See, have you ever seen this method? Generally nowadays we are not using this method, churning method, but this is old method only, by churning that milk or curd. So they used to do that, churn milk or curds and separate butter from it. This is also a method of separation. So here one for that we use that many methods. See, separation processes. Many separation processes generally we do in our kitchen also. See, separate stone from rice. And this is very used to method only, separate stone from rice. Why we separate stone from rice? And generally we do it by hand picking only. To separate stone from the rice, it means that two things are there: stone and rice. Rice is useful component and stones are harmful or unwanted component, we can say. So generally we separate stone from the rice and we throw it away. Then second is churning of milk to obtain butter. When we churn milk or curd to obtain butter, then after separating two things we get again two different but useful component. One is butter and one is we can see buttermilk. So both are useful component only. Then separate tea leaves. Tea leaves, as I told you, after preparing tea we separate tea leaves, because after tea we drink, but tea leaves are again impurities or harmful component, we can say, and we throw it away. So separate stone from rice to remove non-useful component, we can say. or to remove impurities or harmful component, and we throw away the impurities. And churning milk to obtain butter. So here to separate two different but useful component, and we use both the component. Then separate tea leaves. Separate tea leaves in this also to remove or to separate non-useful component. Generally tea leaves are after preparing tea, it is non-useful only, we can say. So we throw away the impurities. So here one question arises, why do we separate substances? Why do we separate substances? So separation is necessary when we need to remove unwanted things. For example, I am telling you can remove unwanted chilies from food by hand picking, we can say. And there are many other instances where we need to separate one substance from another. So we see that before we use a substance, we need to separate harmful or non-useful substances that may be mixed with it, and sometimes we separate even useful components if we need to use them separately. Sometimes what happen, as I told you, that we remove or we separate stones from rice. So here what is that, we need to separate some harmful or non-useful substances. For that we separate. And sometimes we separate even useful component if we need to use them separately. For example, churning milk or to obtain butter. Here, after separating, we need both are useful substances, both are useful components we get. So that time we need to use them separately. And the substances to be separated may be particles or different sizes. Sometimes for that also we need to separate it, because both are in different sizes. So sometimes both are in different colors, both are different materials. So this may be solid, liquid, or even sometimes gases also. So since ancient times, human beings have separated mixtures in order to obtain the specific substances that they need. So separation is also done to remove harmful and undesirable components, we can say, from mixtures, so as to obtain useful substances. So here also So why do we separate substances? Separate harmful or non-useful substances and useful components if we need to use them separately. So for that, how do we separate a substance mixed together if they have so many different properties? You know that many properties are there of the substance. So different methods are used for separating different substances. So let us learn about some common methods that are used. So here some methods are given, methods of separation. First is, these all are very common methods: hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation, filtration, evaporation, condensation. So these are the methods. One by one I will explain all the methods. So first is hand picking. See, this is very common method only. See, for that, before explaining this method, I am telling you one activity. See, bring a packet of grain from shop. Now spread the grain on a sheet of paper. Do you find only one kind of grain on the sheet? Or are there any piece of stones or husk or some broken grains and particles of any other grains in it? Now remove with your hand the pieces of stones, husk and other grains from it. So this method is called hand picking method. So this method, it means that hand picking method can be used for separating slightly larger sized impurities like the pieces of dirt, stone and husk from wheat, rice or pulses we can say, and the quantity of such impurities is usually not very large. So in such, for example, the quantity of some impurities is not so large, it means small amount is there. So in such situations we find that hand picking is a convenient method of separating substances. See this. Here also look closely to the picture. This is the simplest method of separating unwanted materials from a mixture of solids in which the components are different in color. See here also two components are there, both are different in color, size and shape. So this method is preferred when the quantity of the undesirable substance present in the mixture is small, and it is usually used to separate substances like small pebbles or insects from rice, wheat and pulses. See, so rice, wheat, pulses, etc. that we buy from the market may contain some impurities. Impurities, it means that unwanted or some harmful particles in the form of some stones, unwanted grains, etc. So often these impurities look very different from the food item and can be spotted easily. Like as you can see in picture. So the method of separation used in such a case is hand picking. See, this method is preferred when the quantity of the mixture is small, the unwanted substance is present in smaller quantities, and the size, shape or color of the unwanted substance is different from that of the useful one. That time we use that hand picking method. See here only in this video we had completed just one method, hand picking. In next video hopefully I will explain some more methods of separation. It is very simple students, so go through the video twice for better understanding. We'll meet you soon with the next some methods of separation. Thank you.